I wasn't supposed to be here. My HOD, Mr. Teresa Williams, was asked to be on the panel, but she unfortunately could not make it, so she sends apologies. I'm speaking 2.5 on the talking points, which speaks to training and skills development. What are the challenges? Now, Lusani has mentioned that this was the theme also that we discussed last year. I'd like to open up by reading this quote, and it resonates with me, and I think every single person who has done a cadetship at sea would agree with me. It's from Charles Dickens. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness. It was the epoch of belief. And then it goes on and it says, it was a season of darkness. It was the spring of hope. It was the winter of despair. That last word, despair, when you're out at sea, you live despair in that moment of, you feel like nothing that you can do, nothing that you can say is going to make things better. When I think of what happened to Akona Gaveza, despair comes to my mind. And that is one of the challenges. What do we need for our cadets at sea? We need a stronger, better support. DOT, SAMSA, CPUT, we have to be visible for our cadets. It cannot be finish your S1, S2, go to sea, and then we forget about you. And the only time that you resurface again is when you come back after you've completed your sea time, with your record book ready to now qualify as an engineering or watchkeeping officer, because that is the reality. Our students come, they finish a part of their theoretical training, and when they go to sea, they disappear in this big black hole. And the only time that we notice them again is when they resurface, those who actually stuck it out to finish their 12-month sea time. Many of them don't ever come back again. We meet them. I had an experience where I ran into a cadet who I thought was at sea, who was working in a clothing store in Kennedy Square. So what does it take to be a competent cadet seafarer? I think it takes knowledge, information, and we are responsible to make sure that our students, that I do that. Thank you, Messiah. I think we have the responsibility to make sure that we give them the proper knowledge of what can be expected. I think it's a huge wake-up call when you go to sea, because the reality is not in line with the expectation. In South Africa, our rule of the road, while Transport Act says, when you stop at the stop sign, this is how you do it. You slow down, you look in your rear view mirror, your blind spots, you hit your brakes, you bring your car to complete standstill behind the line, you pull up your handbrake and put your car in neutral. Then you do a check, blind spot, you put your car in first gear, check again, and then you go. That's what the law says. There's a huge discrepancy between what's written in legislation and actual practices on the road. I would put it so far to say that if you drive the way the law says, you'll probably be in danger. Okay? So what I'm saying is, our Merchant Shipping Act, our SAMSA Act, our Marine Pollution Act, and all of this, our STCW trading regulations, they need to speak to actual practice. So what if we have the best set of rules on paper? If we cannot actively implement them, then we cannot provide the support that our seafarers so desperately need. We need to have inclusive training. The IMO Secretary General spoke about we need to have, what's the word I wrote down, strong action. Strong action to unroot this perceptions and deep-seated issues, this notion of women shouldn't be at sea. And even if they go to sea, they end up leaving in any case to have babies. We need to speak up when you refer to as Dolly or Toots or that lass. Yeah. You need to speak up. Small actions. In closing, I would like to say that we cannot leave our students out to dry once they go for cadetship. We need to provide a platform where they can be in constant communication with DOT, with SAMSA, with CPUT, and all other organizations. It's not just about Seafarer training. Colin, I see you in front here, and our media also plays an important role. It's about getting the success stories out there. It's about celebrating the success. I see a lot of faces, and I can pick up, I've taught over the years, over 400-500 students, and I can only see about 10 or 11 here today. That to me is a concern. Where are the rest? What happened to the rest? Are they still in the industry? So we need to track, and I said this last year, we have AIS systems for our ships, for our vessels. We want to know where they are, and more importantly, we want to know if they are in danger. We should have AIS for our seafarers, not just females, but also males, all of them. That is all, thank you.